So the question often is, once we secede or we become independent, what happens to a couple of things? Number one, what happens to the debt? Now, there's no international law that says the seceding country has to adopt any portion of the host country or the parent country's national debt. There's no law. But there is what can be called the gentleman's agreement. When Belgium seceded from Holland, it was decided that Belgium would accept the portion of the national debt in relation to what their population is, to the host country's population. So let's say the Western Cape has got 10%, argument's sake, of the population of South Africa. South Africa's debt at the moment is very fast running to 5 trillion rand. COVID has had a massive impact. It's going to be more than 5 trillion soon. So let's look at the figure of 5 trillion. According to what's called a per capita approach, we must then adopt 10% of the 5 trillion, which is 500 billion. Just recapping what I said earlier, our contribution to the GDP is 632 billion. So if I have to adopt a debt of 500 billion, it becomes a manageable debt. Now, again, when a country secedes, all assets within that country which were deemed state assets, which would be your airports, your military bases, your harbors, all such asset reverts to being the property of the new state or the seceding state. However, because of per capita, it's internationally deemed as a fair deal, where the seceding country now says we'll adopt part of the national debt and make the transition easier. Although when the Western Cape secede, the economists will sit down and look at things like the decommissioning of Coburg, which will conservatively cost about $500 million, which no provision was made by Eskom to do so. We will take into account the debt of COVID and lockdown, which were not justified. There were court rulings that the whole COVID lockdown thing was unconstitutional. So certain factors of taking over this 10% of the national debt will be looked at. However, in the same process, the new country will take over things like state pensions. People that's got a government position, which normally ask us what is going to happen to my job, you will simply become part of the new government structure of the new sovereign state. You're not going to lose your job. You're not going to lose your pensions. In fact, pensions in the new sovereign state will be much safer than what they are now, because pensions at the moment is squarely in the sights of the national government.
We need your support to make this a reality for everyone. So register your support for Western Cape independence at www.capeexit.org.